Hey everybody, how's it going? Andrew here, and I just wanted to let you know that we are still looking for people, you, in fact, our listeners, to be on the show for our Dev Interviews episode. So what that is going to be just a kind of a one-on-one quick consultation to address a marketing question that you have that will be featured on the show. I already had some great conversations with other listeners that had a question. I addressed it for them, and then we had a discussion about it. And what was really cool about this is it allowed them to get the extra insight that they needed. It was really helpful for them, and also it was great for them knowing that that information would be helpful for all of you who are listening. On top of that, it provides them with a great opportunity to share more about their game and their project that they're working on. So if this is interesting to you and you would love to be on the show, then please go to rengenmarketing.com/dev interviews. There's a quick form for you there. You ask your question, and then I'll get back, schedule a time, and we'll have our quick discussion, and then you could be featured on the show. So again, rengenmarketing.com/dev interviews. Put your question in there. I'll reach out to you, and then you'll have an opportunity to be on the show in addition to having your question answered. And last but not least, again, just can't thank you guys enough for being such great listeners. Thank you. Let's get to the show. Hey, everybody, and welcome back to Indie Game Movement, the podcast that talks about the marketing and business of indie games. I'm Andrew Pappas. This is episode 261, where we're going to be talking about how to nail effective team building. When it comes to building a team for your indie game studio, people usually focus on the work needed to finish the project. Well, that's important. Knowing and understanding how to build a healthy team from the beginning is essential to greater productivity and a healthy work culture. Thankfully, Nicolas Hafner of ShinMera shares his experience and methods he uses to build an effective team that promotes active communication and a clear vision so they can work seamlessly together. So that's what we're going to be talking about right here today on Indie Game Movement. Hey everybody, and we're back, and today I have Nicolas with us today. And Nicolas, thank you so much for being on the show with us. I'm really excited to have you.
Yeah, sure. Thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
Yeah, awesome. Well, before we get into it, I just want to have you take a moment and share what exactly it is that you do for your studio, what your studio name is, the game that you're currently making, because that sounds really exciting too. I want to know everything that you do and what you're doing right now with your team. And also take a moment too to please provide a little bit of, things that you do in your spare time when you're not making games, because we'd love to know a little bit about that as well.
Right, sure. Yeah, I can do that. Hi, I'm Nicolas. I'm the founder of ShinMera Games. It's a very new studio that just opened last year, almost a year ago to the day. So we're a very small team based in Switzerland, and as the founder, I get to wear a lot of hats, so do a lot of everything. But primarily, I'm acting as the director, the sole programmer on the team right now, and as an artist.
Nice.
I also do like community management and all of that fun stuff.
Wow. Cool.
Yeah, it's a lot to do. In my free time, I just like working on my own projects as well. Like outside of games, I work on a lot of open source code stuff. And I also like to draw a lot. So I try to do daily drawings, which I post on social media and stuff. So yeah, that's about it.
Wow, that's really cool about the drawing aspect. And in fact, I myself started finding that too. Like as a kid, I always liked drawing, and then I never drew pretty much for the rest of my life. So just recently, I started getting into that. It's definitely a weird kind of creepy style. I'm not gonna lie, but at the same time, it's so nice just to have something different, a different form of creative outlet to kind of let your brain rest from everything else that you do.
Yeah. I find drawing is definitely not a rare side in my drawings is more heavy depressive kind of stuff when I'm feeling low, and it's really nicely therapeutic as well to just put something on paper, even if it's not like fantastic or anything.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, just to get it on the paper is
Yeah.
just in itself like worth it. So that's really cool. You wear a lot of hats and everything. But I would love to hear a little bit more too about the project you're currently working on, or the game that the most recent project.
Yeah, for sure. So what we're working on right now is a game called Kandria. The name does not mean anything, if you're wondering. It's just something we picked. It's a 2D hack and slash action RPG. So
Nice.
It's set in a post-apocalyptic future kind of scenario where after some years in the future, where like technology has advanced a lot, some unknown calamity has struck and pretty much wiped out almost everything on the surface. And all that remains is sort of these underground tunnel networks and buildings that humanity has constructed in the years prior. And there's a few like different factions and settlements remaining down there. And you play as an android that gets awakened after this calamity has struck, and someone sort of discovers you in a pile of rubble. And then you're immediately pulled into a sort of a local struggle between a couple of different groups that have sort of different ideas on how they should best tackle this harsh environment and like deal with food and supplies and all of that stuff.
Wow, awesome! It sounds pretty interesting, and especially like you did a good job, kind of setting that tone and everything else, and I could really visualize that. So really cool. And so in light of the development of that, I think about a month ago from the time that this is going to air, you guys just released a public demo, correct?
Yes, we've had public demos for quite a while. So when I initially went proper public with the project in March of 2020, that's when I like put out a really early demo. Mm-hmm. But we've published a really polished vertical slice demo a month ago, yeah, and we've been really looking forward to the feedback from that.
Sweet. So if you're looking for a new TD action platformer hack and slash, it sounds like this would be a good demo to check out then.
Yeah, for sure. I will be happy to receive your feedback.
Awesome. All right. Well, really appreciate you sharing a little bit more information about the game and everything, and about your, what you do on the side when you're not necessarily making games. But I would like to take this a step further and put you into the Q box round.
Right.
And for those of you who aren't familiar, it's just a series of random questions I prepared for Nicolas here, and he's just going to give me his quick and easy answer for them, unless he needs to elaborate. So, Nicolas, are you ready?
I am ready as can be.
All right. What's the most inspirational game that you've seen recently?
Death Stranding for sure. So I played that on PC when it came out last year, and that was a blast. And I'm still thinking about that game a lot.
Nice.
Very excited for the director's cut.
Right. If you could only speak one word for an entire day, what would it be?
Oh.
What did you say?
Oh,
okay.
Is the word.
Okay. It was really funny because I know this is one of the more random ones there. When you first said I was thinking for a second, wait, did he mean or like, that was hilarious. But okay. Awesome. Crayons, colored pencils, or Sharpies?
I would have to go with Sharpies, since that's the closest to like ballpoint pens, which would be my preference.
Okay. Nice. I like that. And if you could speak another language you don't know fluently, what would it be?
It would for sure be Japanese, since that's been a language I've been trying to learn for many years now, and I still suck at it. So,
it's really interesting because I think I don't ask this question too often, but I think the common answer is Japanese. So this might be twice. Yeah. So okay, but and it's always funny because that's when I felt the same with too, and I actually know a little bit, but I pretty much know nothing now. But at any rate, yeah,
it's so tough learning languages. Honestly, it's so much of a time commitment.
Mental bandwidth. Like I'd love to get into it myself again, but it's just like it's so draining. But it'd be cool. Too bad you can't learn it like subconsciously while you're sleeping, right? Anyways,
why don't they make the thing from like what was it? From the Arcane Games game where you can just inject into your eyeballs all the knowledge you need.
Right. Yeah, there's that. Or Matrix. It's like, I know Jiu-Jitsu now. Like, just upload and be done with it.
Give it to me.
Right. What game are you playing right now?
Right now, I just started Dragon Quest XI, the Japanese version of that. I had to like special import that to study it a bit more. Yeah,
I need to get playing that more. I got it forever ago. I love it. I just need to play it more. I haven't even scratched the surface of it. So unfortunate, but it's such
a big game, man.
It is. It really is. But it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. And
yes.
Good one. All right. Well, Nicholas, thank you so much for going the Q Box round and providing a little bit more information about yourself. Really cool to learn those things. But now we're going to get into our discussion today, which is nailing effective team building. And this one I really like a lot. I know the subject has come up a couple times on the show, but in previous episodes. But I'm really excited to ask these questions too, because we're really going to go a little bit more in depth in terms of how that works with you and your team. And I also think it's really helpful too, because of the size that you guys are. You're not necessarily a big, huge team. So and I know the dynamics can be a bit different when you're working with smaller teams versus bigger teams. And also having that mindset in terms of how do you keep that going. So again, really excited to have this conversation with you. And to kick it off, I was just like wondering from your perspective and experience, when do you think it's the best time to start team building?
So from my experience, I think it's important that you already know what you want. So this is, I feel like in general, like for creative works, it's very important to have a vision of what you want, because if you're meandering around, that's just going to, even if you have team members, it's just going to pull everyone down and just like slow you down and make things miserable. But especially if you look for expanding your team and like increasing production, you really need to know what you're going for. So I feel like late pre-production, or like once you want to start production in full, that's about like a good time to start expanding your team, where it's not like where you're not in full steam of production of like how everyone's geared up and working on things, but you already know where you want to go. So I think that will be the best time to really expand on things.
Nice. So just, I mean, really having that vision ahead of time as probably as early as possible, and then making sure that starts to become implemented kind of like from the get-go. So as early as possible kind of sounds like it, and to be mindful of those things, because like you said, you don't want to start getting into full production being like, oh, I need to like have this team, because then a lot of the focus and attention is probably on development, and then it's like it sounds like a lot of those things on the team building aspect can probably potentially fall through the cracks, right?
Yeah, that's like one of the very basic management mistakes that a lot of people make, where they think, oh, we just have like, with 2 people we can do this much, with 4 people we can do double that much, so let's just hire more people and then we can be twice as fast. But it's just like especially the initial months of when you have new people are going to be much slower, because you need to get them into the team, like get them acquainted, like make sure they're comfortable, make sure they know everything about the project, where you're going, that they read through like all the material you prepared and so forth. So it's going to take a lot of time out of the existing team members' schedules. So it's definitely not like a button to just make faster, and you need to be mindful of that.
Yeah, definitely a very important thing to make note of, because like you said, it's like a lot of people will just look at it, if we have 2 more people, that's double the amount of work. Great. but it's a lot more to it than that for sure. So I want to kind of take this in a different direction because, team building, yes, we can all understand the importance